Hey, muy buenas tardes to everyone. I hope everybody's doing well and as always enjoying family. Y de nuevo, Tony, muchas gracias for allowing me to get on your platform. Stories written by a current prisoner to share my stories in the hope that, it could be used in a positive way or at least looked at to the point I have someone think twice about going down the life that I live, which is prison and just betrayals mainly. And I want to make something real clear, because I seen a comment and he basically stated some things, and I just want to make everything clear like I have been. I thought I was being clear on it, but I'm not on here to glorify this life in any way, shape, or form. The only purpose of me coming up on here is just to put my message out there to deter those that are walking the same path I was when I was on the streets, and to stay away from prison. That there is no glory, not whatsoever, in prison. Bueno, before I get into the story, I just want to also thank everyone for you guys' prayers and for your kind words. Como siempre, significan mucho para mí. Thank you. Okay, for the stories, it's gonna mainly concentrate on San Diego or from National Old Town National City. Is one of the most scandalous things that I've seen, because I've seen people's careers being taken over BS and things, but this is something that truly you know, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it had happened and how they swept it under the rug, and how basically a young camarada became a victim, and then he got victimized even more. And it's just one of those things just to basically enlighten more on how, sureños camaradas get stomped on like we're trash, and and again, I'll say it again, it's something that I don't understand, how, we grow up or we hit the system thinking that, we're warriors, we're soldados, and we're campoleros, we're trying to earn ours. But at the end of the day, man, we ain't in charge of nothing. We're not in charge of our control, Gente, open your eyes, These people are just stomping on us and stomping on us, and at the end of the day, there's no type of consequences towards them. So they keep on pushing, they keep on doing it. As a matter of fact, throughout the years, they went from being at one level to completely blowing it out the park. They're being real scandalous nowadays. But I do apologize for rambling on and on. I'll get into the story. Now, as I stated before, I was in the USP where the Pili or the Señor Sana was there, Chino was there, Big Joe. There was quite a few big homies, The the abuelito de Lomas was there. There was some cool big homies, And just around this time, I had already been there for maybe 6 months around there, and the Senor Sana, he actually went out to hospital because before his time, he was having a lot of, health issues, and he was going out a lot. So he had gone out. So at this time, I was still trying to learn the ropes, how it different from state to federal. Basically, I just wanted to follow the guidelines I was supposed to, and it was just a trip, because when we're in state, we're thinking that, we're wiggling, we're doing moves, but in reality, it ain't nothing. The señores or camaradas out there in the federal system, man, they're really doing the big things. They got that access. They got access, if not to capos, to sicarios that have that influence to the point where, or they have dominicanos, africanos, lo que sea, that they're doing their thing, and basically they need a good plug. So if you're able to supply it to different states, and there's money there, And I was still in that, I was still trying to learn who we could mess with, what we couldn't mess with, and just the simple rules and regulations and how they different from one another. Okay, but mainly when Sana wasn't there, I mainly stuck around Crook and you know and the Senor Joe. But one day it went up with the Cubanos. Well, mainly it was with the Los Isleños or the Caribbean islanders. We just went at it, and we went on a little lockdown. Now in this lockdown, you know, the Senor, he had a celly. It was a young vato. I'm not gonna say he was a youngster, but he was like in his late 20s, early 30s, and now he was a mean old tecato, and sometimes when I heard how much dope he did, it was like, damn, I couldn't believe he would still be able to move around. But anyways, without getting off track, I dispensa. Um, One day it was just like, camaradas came out to showers, and I don't know, I guess the señor and this young vato from B&E, which I won't put his name on blast because I really believe he got done wrong, but at the end of the day, I can't really speak up for another man. But anyway, camaradas came out to showers, and it just so happened that a camarada from Crazy Riders, you know, Rojo, that he had a lot of pull out there, because he had his little weight when it came to moving things around. So basically, he went out to the cell, and instead of knocking out of respect like you're supposed to when you approach a camaradas or another sureños or carnales door, you're supposed to knock before peeking in, but he didn't. He just pecked in and called out to them, and he couldn't believe what he seen, and I'm just gonna put it like this, I'm not gonna really come on here and state how he told us he found them, but basically they were having relationships, and right away he went to the other side of the building, and he told el abuelito de Lomas and Joe, from OC about this. So my thought was like, damn, first and foremost, we didn't know the extent of things. It could have been like, whatever it was, it wasn't permitted. For one, no activities is allowed. They could come out and be like, oh, we're in a relationship, it's not permitted, period. Or I don't know, there's no excuses. Well, that's what I thought, that they couldn't come up with any type of excuses to make this good. So basically, we got off lockdown and we came out to yard, and I was suspecting the yard to go up for one, because the other carnales, I knew they weren't going to permit it, especially when it was out there like that. Everybody heard about it. But again, like I stated before, when it comes to favoring each other and dumb things, they do back each other up. It's something that I never understood, how they could back each other up when it comes to stupid things, and they could be at each other's throats, fighting over nothing, causing camaradas to lose their dates or getting hurt in the mix. But when they talked to the young camarada from BNE, he told him, that ever since he went up in the cell, homeboy was, pulling his thing out and taking advances towards him. The next thing you know, it went from touch it and this to, homeboy from BNE was getting visits, and he started telling him, like, hey, let me go ahead, and you guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm not gonna be come on here rude in any way. And he started you know doing his thing in the camarada, and it was basically behind threats, like, who I am, the juice I have, and either you open them up, or you know I put a string on your family from here there, and we'll go ahead and we'll get you to apply, to apply to what I want. And he was a young bato, and basically when he's getting told with one of those individuals, well, you know who I am, and you know the reach I have. So he just took it, I guess, instead of coming out and basically telling somebody that he was being threatened like this. He just went ahead and just followed suit, basically. And it's scandalous, but the one thing I want to say that was more scandalous is that when everything was done and said, all I had to say was, man, he's lying, He came on to me, I've been busted for so long, so, it just, I just got curious, and then we just happened to get caught when we were trying, which is bold. The young Bato had already stated that it had already been a couple times, and it went from one thing and it escalated. And besides that, man, just in the time that I was there, it wasn't the first time that this Vato Celis complained about this, But the worst part for me was that the said a homeboy came on to him, and I, to me it was not. He couldn't clear this up. It was like, okay, yes, I agree. They should have been both hit. One from being dumb and telling another man and the other one for being a bully, abusing his power. And what kind of causal is that? When basically you're making a soldado, you know, become a woman per se. That's a person that shouldn't be in that position, right? But I'm sorry to say that nothing happened to this vato. They went against homeboy from BNE. Next thing you know, first he got tagged with feria. They okey doked him, telling him that everything was going to be cool, just pay feria, and nobody was going to speak about it no more. But after he paid the feria, maybe 3-4 days later, they went and whacked him because they couldn't allow a camarada to be and they hit him, took his career, and it was one of those times where I really thought, like, damn, how many times could they actually, be scandalous with homeboy? And at the same time, this vato that's a scandalous individual though, like this, he's still a monster calling shots, telling camaradas how to do things and how to conduct themselves, when in reality, man, the was him, because he likes man. Because I could understand, if this fool was a lifer, then he might have been thinking like, damn, well, I'm never going to have actions to anything. which, I could tell you from at one time, considering I was never going to get out, that in no way, shape, or form those thoughts ever crossed my mind. But, there's different people, right? It's why the colors got made, because everybody has different likings and thinks different, But this individual wasn't even a lifer, As everybody knows, this cat is already on the streets, calling shots, running neighborhoods, and what about all the camaradas he heard in the system? How about all those camaradas that were with him in the cell and he tried to push that lie to give it up? He might have not gotten away with it, but from what I heard, every camarada that complained about it was either Chino or Joe or even Sana. They used to clear this up, saying it was lies and you're trying to spread poison against a carnal and you have to go. So it was basically a camarada had no say so when it came to this. And the reason why I'm sharing this story, because I want those young vatos out there to really, really think about how prison life is. I do understand that not all carnales are like this, man. Don't mistake my words for that. I understand there's carnales that are legit, that are truly for the causa, for the camaradas, for the raza, but there's also these individuals, that use and abuse camaradas, that you give them a little bit of power and they become tyrants, worse than tyrants. Because I'm gonna be sincere, if it would have been a different situation like now, man, I would have heard homeboy, because that's just not allowed. How are you gonna stomp on a young camarada, But again, it's that difference of mentality where I got power and you do as I'm told, you know, you do as I say. I get to do with you what I want. Instead of thinking like, man, I'm gonna make the camarada, strengthen them up, sharpen them up. Nah, man. It's just, they look at it like sureños, there's thousands. So one thrown out here and there, it don't mean nothing. But again, the reason that I'm telling this story is for those young vatos, thinking that prison is all firme. These are the type of individuals that are there supposedly to set rules and regulations to protect you, at least in the aspect that to have our people clean. But if an individual like this is like this, just really think how he's gonna pilot a ranfla. All he ever thought while I was there was about dope, dope, and scandalous stuff always uprising towards him, which till this day I don't understand why they tolerated him for so long. But again, you really didn't see a lot of politicking against each other in the feds like you did in the states. They were more about maintaining those carnales that were already there. So you know, but this is just a story I wanted to share with you guys about a young vato. Like I stated, I'm not gonna put his name out there from beginning, and about a scandalous ass M member, Old Town National City, San Diego. And I am putting his name out there because I think it's dirty what he was doing. If he was doing camaradas like that in the system, just think about what he's doing to camaradas now that he's out. But for this time, I'm gonna make the story short because I have to leave town and I have doctors and doctors and doctors. This is why I'm sending Tony this recording early today, basically to check in with you guys and wish everyone a great weekend. I hope you guys enjoy what life puts out there. Those things that really have a meaning. Those moments that you should treasure. Forget about prison, forget about nothing that have to do with that, you know. Your causa should be your family, man. You know, have a good wife, kids, you know, eventually they should shake all that off. There's nothing inside, you know. This really blew my mind when it happened, to the point where for a while I feel lost, to be sincere. I carried this individual for a long time, you know. I carried him in my head, and to be sincere, I was a mean person, you know, in that aspect, that I never touched my heart to hurt someone. So I was carrying him, trying to figure out a thousand different ways on how to hurt him and be able to get away with it. But I was just in a spot where it wasn't how possible, you know. But you know, like I stated, I just wanted to check in with you and express my appreciation again for you guys' kind words and your prayers. It really means a lot. Muchísimas gracias, and hopefully, you know, I'm able to get back home by tomorrow night, so I'm able to put out a video. I'm gonna try to make sure I send 21 every day to check in with you guys, and hopefully we can start doing those lives to have you guys pop in on us, and you know, be able to conversate more directly. But again, muchísimas gracias, and I will put on my next story is gonna basically be about a señor from up north that for some reason he really had it out for, you know, for the homies from Northern California. But you know, I will get into that. Again, I hope everybody's still blessed. I hope everybody I made sense of my story, and I was able to put the pinpoint out what I wanted to put out behind the story, which is, you know, stay out and do your thing for yourself, man. At the end of the day, everything you do is either for a good sense of mind and life out here, you know. I mean, you could always treat your family right and everything, but at the end of the day, you know, you gotta always think about what's gonna bring you good in your life, you know. But then, no, muchas gracias for you guys' expressions to me, and for your time as always. So with this said, please always stay true to yourself, stay loyal to your loved ones. Gracias y que estén bien.